breath control is really important in Qigong and yoga and Pilates and most of these sorts of mind-body techniques. In Chinese medicine, we say that the lung is the commander of Qi. It's one of those sort of quotes from the ancient classics that is important to learn. What that means is that there's this kind of idea that by breathing in and out, that gives the motive force to the flow of the Qi, the flow of the energy. And if you don't know what the concept of Qi is about, I like to say it's about the functions in the body. All the things that Qi does are functions. It changes things, it processes things, it transforms things. It's kind of misleading to just think of it as a kind of energy like electricity or something. It's a little bit more kind of well-rounded than that. So anyway, learning to control our breath with our movements is very important for the idea that we're improving circulation, moving the Qi and blood around the body, opening the channels and flexing the body, okay? We want the Qi to reach the extremities and to flow smoothly so that we can be healthy. Most of the practices involve unblocking blockages and helping the body to be balanced and normal, okay? The first breathing technique or method that I'm going to talk about is the straightforward, basic, relaxed abdominal breathing, which isn't always what you should be doing, okay? We use the relaxed abdominal breathing in positions where there is relaxation. So in a seated meditation, in a standing position, Qigong, where your visualization, your awareness is placed on the lower abdomen. So start like that in Jianzhong, feet under the shoulders, knees bent, weight behind the big toes, in the midfoot, center of a triangle made from your heel, base of the big toe, base of the little toe. We lift our hands up, elbows are soft, fingers are extended towards each other but relaxed, and we're lining up the palms with the space just under our belly button, okay? And in this one, we're allowing the abdomen to expand as we breathe in. And the core is engaged by the breath. We're not holding on to tension, we're not relaxed, we are relaxed. We're not holding on to tension, but the action of the diaphragm and the reaction of the pelvic floor is allowed to just happen automatically. Shoulders are relaxed. You think about the elbows moving sideways away from your body, but the fingers drawing together to get that kind of integrated structure. And we rest there. Bringing our awareness to the breath, coming into the abdomen, guiding the breath down to nourish our dantian, our sea of Qi. And anatomically, that pumping action of the diaphragm and the reaction of the pelvic floor is also going to help your digestion. It brings you out of fight or flight, into rest and digest. It gives your stomach and intestines a nice massage. Get uncomfortable to stand like this for too long, But if you start to feel it in your knees, back off, shake it out, and again, bring your mind back to placing your weight behind the base of the second and third toes, behind the ball of the foot, not resting in the heels. If you rest in your heels, you'll overuse the quads and the knees can start to ache. Pro tip. Okay, finishing off. Bring it back to centre, give yourself a moment to rest. Today, we're going to continue working on breath techniques, and this time we're going to take it to a more dynamic place. So if we're moving, then we don't want the abdomen to be relaxed. We want there to be control, okay? So we still breathe and guide the breath to the lower abdomen, but there will be tone here because we are controlling it. And that means what we want to happen is for the breath to move into our sides. So you want the ribs to move. Now, a lot of people are very stiff in that area and their ribs don't move. The way the ribcage works is that the upper chest rises, but the lower ribs come out sideways. It's what's called a bucket handle action. So we want to encourage that mobility and work on keeping that tone in the abdomen so that we can get this moving. So again, in order to get to practice this, I'm going to show you a little exercise we can do. Again, same principles as always, lining up, well, it's the same principles as mostly. We're lining up the feet with the shoulders, weight behind the balls of the second or the third toes, so that there's some springiness in the legs. You want to feel like that the hamstrings, the quads, the calves, the glutes are all working a little bit together, not that any one particular place is overloaded. And we're going to start off low down, like we finished in the Jan Jong earlier, yesterday. We start off low, and the fingers are lengthening. There's a little bit of stretch in the fingers. And as we breathe in, okay. Lifting up, sinking down. So as the elbows go to the side and the hands lift, you're still trying to breathe down into the abdomen, but you're not letting the belly pop. So hopefully you'll start to feel the side ribs opening up. You notice I'm also, as I breathe in, bringing the hands up here. I'm also straightening the legs a little bit, but not locking them out. Breathing out, you're sinking again. Good. Although we're moving softly and in a relaxed way, when we get to the top here, there is a stretch in the arms. And when we get to the bottom here, there's a stretch in the arms. You want to feel a little bit of stringiness, of tone coming through here as you're opening up your channels. Ribs opening sideways, flexing the channels of the arms. Place the weight behind the second and third toes. And again, bring it back to center to close. Give yourself a moment to pay attention to what's going on in your body. Next breathing exercise we're going to talk about. This isn't used as commonly in Qigong, but there are some of the Daoyin exercises I use where you will use this technique as well. That is actually actively breathing into the upper chest. Okay, so it's the sort of breathing that you'll do when you're exerting yourself naturally, but usually we use the other sort of methods to relax. However, breathing up into the upper chest can be very useful to mobilize the ribcage and the upper back. So the exercise that I'm going to show you today involves this kind of breathing. So without the moves, what we're going to do is breathe in, raise the breastbone, think about breathing into the back, and then as you breathe out, keep the ribcage where it is, so you feel the abdomen kick in. Okay, you're going to hold the ribcage up. Okay, lifting the ribcage up, and then as you breathe out, you're holding the ribcage up in the back of the ribs. So the out breath, you should feel it working in your core. Like it almost feels like you're pulling your waist in a little bit. Adding in the movement we're going to do. Again, parallel the feet. That means second toe facing forward, underneath the shoulders. We're going to put our hands behind our back on our back of our hips. You can make loose fists, or you can open the hands, whatever feels more comfortable. I tend to make loose fists so that my fingers don't knock into each other. And what we do is we're going to breathe in, and out. So as you breathe in, we're taking the breath into the back of the ribs and lifting the breastbone, and we're lifting the arms. Elbows are going sideways. Think about the elbows moving outwards, and then breathe out, holding the ribcage up, the elbows go down. And breathe out. There are some dynamic moves that we use that kind of breathing in to get tone into the back, strengthening the spine, we're mobilizing the upper back, we're lifting the chest. It's all about getting movement through the rib cage and balanced tension through the body. Again, to reiterate, balanced tension through the body spreads the load through the whole network of our connective tissue and muscles, our fascia, our bones, so that everything can share in the load. That way, we can remain strong and resilient as we get older, not allowing one part to do too much work and get worn out, run down, become painful. Okay, so simple exercise there. You might feel that's quite strong on the shoulders. It's a really nice stretch for the shoulders. Don't push it too far, you don't want it to hurt. And if you can't actually get your hands to here, you can leave your hands at the sides like this and do a version like that. So that would look like but if you can, get the hands behind because it's really nice opener for the shoulder. Okay, this is the forced exhalation method. Okay, so we tend to use this in exercises where we're flexing forward and we want spinal and ribcage mobility. So there's a few of these in the 5 animal set, there's some in a couple in the Bad One Jin set, there's some in the Tai Chi Shibashi as well, where you're rolling forward. For the sake of the demo, I'm going to show you a more simple exercise that anyone can do, which is often called the fountain Qigong. Okay, so the principle of it first is to learn to breathe all the way out. So we're actually going until the lungs completely empty, and we're going to push a little bit more as well. So when you push all the air out, accessory muscles have to kick into play. So the rib cage is actually going to squeeze down and the obliques are going to fire up. And at that point, the diaphragm is actually at its most relaxed. Okay, and because of the effect the diaphragm and the pelvic floor have on each other, also helps the pelvic floor to relax. If you never breathe out fully, then there's always a bit of tone in the diaphragm, there's always a bit of tone in the pelvic floor. So that's a kind of holding and a gripping. And although talk about pelvic floor relaxing, it's really healthy. You need a mobile pelvic floor and core. It's not going to stop making you, it's not going to start making you wet yourself or anything. It's just that if you hold too much tension in it all the time, problems actually do develop. Things like stress incontinence and prolapse and problems like that. Also, sort of digestive issues can happen caused by high tone pelvic floor. Okay, so we need to learn not only to be strong but also to relax. So let's try that again. We're going to breathe all the way out. A little bit more. Yeah. Hold it for a couple of seconds. Then try and breathe in softly. Okay. We combine that with this fountain Qigong movement. Again, feet under the shoulders. So you can see the line between here and the centre of your feet. Second toes forward. Weight behind the second and third toes, not in the heels. And as we breathe in, we hold. We breathe out, hold. In, out. All the way out. In and rise. Hold. Out. Hold. See if you can do each for the count of 4. close. What did you notice? How did your ribcage feel? How many fingers? How do your arms feel? Do you feel more relaxed? This breathing method should also help you relax. Helps to bring us back into a rested state, rest and digest, out of the sympathetic fight or flight nervous system. Very, very useful to know. Even spending 4 or 5 minutes doing that can significantly change your state of being, bring you back into your body, calm down the heart rate, and calm the mind. So here's the 5th of the breathing methods that we'll use in Daoyin Qigong exercises. Daoyin is a word that means guiding and pulling. So it's a kind of health exercise. They're more to do with the body and with flexibility and strength than the kind of other sorts of Qigong like Neidan, which is inner alchemy. And that's a lot more like a meditation. Neidan exercises are much more spiritually oriented and about cultivating kind of spiritual development and enlightenment and long life. There's a lot of crossover, but just to put that out there, Qigong is an umbrella term that encompasses quite a lot of different practices, right the way from breaking iron bars with your head to sitting quietly in a cave on a mountainside for 20 years. Lots of different variations. So these that I'm talking about are Daoyin, which are health exercises, guiding and pulling, flexing the body with breath. Okay. So this last breathing method is combining the others. We want a 360-degree expansion of the ribcage and contraction of the ribcage. So before we focused on the abdominal breathing, the lateral breathing, the breathing into your back, and the full exhale. Okay. This one, what we're trying to think about is the whole thing. So the upper ribs are going to go up, the side ribs are going to go to the side, and the back ribs are going to go back. Plus, we're also going to do a full exhale. Okay. So it's in a way more tricky because there's a lot to be aware of. And the exercise I'm going to use to demonstrate this is from the 5-element Qigong set that I learned from my first Tai Chi teacher, who taught us dial Yang Tai Chi, which is a bit different to the other styles of Yang Tai Chi that I've learned. There's lots of different 5-element Qigong systems. This one's very simple, but very deep. Maybe I should say profound. So for this, the metal element is the one that relates to the lung, okay? And the movement for the metal element is like this. So setting up as usual with our feet under our hips, weight behind the big toe and second toe, in the midfoot. So you want to shift your weight back and forth, move it forward until you feel your legs are engaged in the back and the front, not just in the front. We start with the hands in front of the chest, not touching, but close together. And as you breathe in, elbows to the side, and breathe out. Breathing in, elbows are going to the side, ribs are going sideways, upwards, backwards. Breathing all the way out, closing again. Again, chest bone lifts, ribs going backwards, side ribs going sideways. Back to here. Your elbows are moving sideways, your fingers are pointing up. Now once you've got all that going on, and hopefully you've got your sense of the ribcage opening, a bell shape opening at the bottom in all three directions. That's front, back, sides. I should say all four directions really, because it's going up and down as well. Now pay attention between your hands. What do you notice between your palms? And take them together. Bring that back to dantian below your navel and just rest in there for a moment. See you next time.